Peace gang, what's going on? Right now, finally, guys, I'm about to actually build this app. For like the last few weeks, we've essentially just been like mapping out the wireframe and the requirements, and we're finally at the space now where I feel pretty confident we're moving forward with like building the app. So let me take you guys through what I'm going to be doing tonight. So the first thing that I did firstly was just make a wireframe of the app of what it's going to look like. So let me just walk you guys through what the final app is going to look like. So this screen is going to be one of the first views that we build. And this screen is just like showing all the different funding opportunities that we've identified for our client. So in this case, this is Zandra. Right now, it's categorized by our funding source type. So you'll notice that like there's loans, there's grants, there's scholarships, there's programs, competitions, and fellowships. So you'll be able to click view, and then there's a list view of the respective funding type. The next most important view that we're actually going to build is going to be the application list view. So this is going to be like once we start to actually apply for actually apply for funding opportunities for the client, which we've started, they'll be able to see like the different applications that we've applied for on their behalf. I believe that the view that I'm currently showing you guys is specifically for looking at all of your grants. Okay, so after we build these two views, the next view we're going to build is the views that allow us to ingest the data ingest the data, allows the participants to onboard. So on this screen is essentially like our start here screen. So this is where like essentially like let's say a client just signed up for the app. This would be like the home getting started or like the start here screen. So this would be like what we build next, just because this is like important for the participant to get onboarded. These next few views are if they click into like the details of the getting started. So for example, they need to fill out personal background information. So this screen is essentially simulating like when someone clicks the start button. So essentially, they would click the start button and then they would fill out personal background information about that. You guys will see what information is included in the form when we get to that place when we're building it. All right, so the next few screens are just walking through each section that the participant needs to fill out in order to like basically get to this view. So right now we're just taking in as much information as we possibly can for the participants for multiple reasons. The first reason is we need to classify the participant, so put them in different categories so that we can identify funding opportunities they're eligible for. And then on top of that, we're putting together their essay. So each funding opportunity typically requires that the student or the client has an essay. And so fundamentally, we're trying to tell the story of who this participant is and why they need the funding. So we're also collecting this information to produce a biography, which you'll see as an output. So this is just walking you guys through like the workflow of them filling in each piece of like the form that we need in order to collect like background data on them. There's also a screen for them to put in their budget. So basically what makes this screen different is here. Sorry, let me take a step back. Previously in like one of these sections, I believe it's the funding goals section, they would have told us how much they want to how much they needed funding. They would have told us like how long they have before they need the funding, et cetera. And then finally what we're saying is like, okay, we've collected all of this information on you. And you guys will see this when I was like decided on the order to build the database. And anyways, what I'm saying that to say at the end, like basically once you've put in, let me go back to the wireframe. Once you've put in all of your information, we're better able to give you guys a summary of like, okay, given all of the information that you just gave us, given your goals so far, like to reach your goals, like this is our proposed, like, budget or whatever. And then the participant can just like choose which options they want. And as like kind of like a standard, what we have is that we charge a $1,500 service fee and then 10% of the funding secured. And so like it'll just show you like, okay, like this is our fee, this is how much we've identified already. So like we've already like searched through our database of existing funding opportunities. It'll even give you like a confidence score of us winning the different opportunities for you. But anyways, this screen is just showing the fact that you can also upload documents. So again, all of this workflow is a means to get to this screen that says summary. So it's collected all of this information about you and it started to create like ready-made applications. So participant classification. So this screen, also, I think we changed the order actually. So in the database, you guys will notice that actually there's a beginning part where we're collecting information from the participant and we allow them to go ahead and check some of the check some of the classification categories that they fall into. So for example, like what their professional occupation is and what their gender identity is and their ethnicity, so that we can just optimize the process of onboarding. So for example, if Z would have like checked the fact that like she's a non-student, then we wouldn't have even like taken her through the workflow associated with that. All right. And then finally, you get a funding goals summary. So this will have like your biography. It'll have like what your target is. It'll have the important dates. It'll have special notes that you've given us from like that additional information section that you can give to us. And then finally, you'll get this funding roadmap. So they'll tell you like from, time from phase 0 to phase N of us securing the funding that you need. Like here is our plan. So you guys will get like a graphical like visualization of that. Okay, so now when it says ready to get funding, basically we've already like shown you potential funding opportunities, like potential like ready-made applications. You've now confirmed like the budget that you have for the project, and now you're pressing submit, and now we're ready to actually find your funding opportunities. This is one of the next screens that we actually need to build. I didn't want to move it so it didn't throw me off as far as like on the workflow, but this actually should be like right here. Essentially, this screen is like we've already ingested your data at this point, and now you can start to search through some of the funding opportunities that we've identified for you. So these guys here are meant to be the slicers. So remember how we had different classifications, just different ways of filtering through the funding opportunities. So whether it's looking at your particular demographics or if it's looking at features about the fund, it'll just allow you to like filter through, slice through the different classifications. And then this left side is showing you a list of the funding opportunities, and this right side is just showing you like a table. So imagine that like the table is like, showing you like all of the different records in a table format. And then you have like a little graphical like scroll through that has like the fund and probably some important information like the source type, the total amount, and maybe like the deadline, and maybe like something super simple as far as the eligibility goes. And then probably like a view more button, view more, or maybe even apply. We'll see. But this is like the first screen where like our users have like onboarded and they're ready to start exploring their funding opportunities. And let's go to the screen. Okay, so then the my funding table. So the previous screen, this one is like them searching through like filtering. I believe this one is like we are actually like showing them the funding opportunities that we've identified like specifically for them. So this would be like almost like the app, like the ready-made application packages that they can scroll through and like kind of get started on that. All right, so this part ends as far as like the front end design of the app. What I'm gonna go through in the next part of the app is like our quote. When I say back end, I mean like our admin back end. So like the performance, our analytics, how we can create, read, update, different models associated with the app. So in part 2. I am actually going to go through that. So make sure you guys come back because I'll explain that. All right. I hope you guys are enjoying this demo of our new funding management app so far. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next demonstration. All right, let's end this one.